riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am Garrett Harvey, and with me as always, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how's it going?
It's going great.
Would you like to tell the folks at home today what album we'll be discussing if they haven't read the title of our podcast?
This week we are going to be talking about Kanye West's most recent album, Life of Pablo.
If you've never heard the podcast before, what we do is we pick an album, typically one that we do not think we're going to enjoy. We listen to that album as much as humanly possible over a week or two. Then we sit down and we ask each other the important question, do you hate this album? Tim, for Kanye West's 8th studio album, released February 14th, 2016, Life of Pablo, do you hate this album?
I think so.
Interesting answer.
I'm not so... Man, this is not for me. I don't like it. But there's a little part of me that says maybe I'm not getting something about it. So I can't say that I absolutely hate it, but it's not good. I do not enjoy this.
That is a shocking answer for anyone who knows Timothy Richardson. He is not a fan of the rapists, particularly not a fan of Kanye West.
No. I mean, I will say, after listening to this, I hate Kanye West way more. I hate him, Garrett. I wish ill upon him, and I wish ill upon the next 4 generations of his family.
That's fair.
God damn it.
I think that's a fair statement. I don't think anyone would say you're going overboard there.
No. Do you hate this album?
Tim? I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I might like this album.
No, this is interesting.
I am apoplectic. I'm having a crisis of consciousness. No. Yes.
No, it's still wrong.
It is.
Well, maybe not.
Nope, it's accurate. I'm going to roll with it.
It's not the traditional saying, but yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense if you understand what I'm dealing with. I listened to this album, I don't know, 8-10 times. Maybe more. I hated it. I didn't understand it. I loathed having to listen to it again. I began to scrutinize the lyrics and question why anybody would ever listen to this voluntarily. And then something happened around the 6th or 7th time. Maybe even the 8th or 9th. And we'll get there. I don't want to spoil things, but let me say, initial review before we talk it out, I'm not sure.
All right. I
might hate this album.
I think I'm far more close to hating it than to even being
Yes, on the Wrigley hate scale, I believe you are at a negative 2.4, whereas I'm way down at a negative 11.6.
I don't understand how this scale works.
Everyone is familiar with the Joseph Wrigley hate scale. Google it.
All right. I have no basis for comparison for this album. Like, I've never listened to one of his albums, and I don't really have much of a conception of hip-hop. I couldn't have even told you a song name probably before this. And as soon as I hit play, I was extremely confused. My first reaction, though, whenever I listen to this, it's like if you've ever been on sort of like a first date and somebody just immediately is just like, well, I'm spiritual but not religious. Or just like immediately starts talking about tabloid celebrities. It's just, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, you were immediately off-put from note one.
Before we go any further, what nickname would you like to use for him to save time? Now, I have some options.
Okay.
The internet's favorite seems to be a simple Ye.
Oh, boy.
Right. Y-E. I would like to suggest either K-Way or Ye-Way, whichever
Are you making
like.
These up? You're making these
I
up,
made the
right?
last 2 up, yes.
Okay, yeah, you're making those up. First of all, he's a grown man and shouldn't have nicknames that he gives himself.
Well, no. So, Ye is out. I'm taking it. All right, so we're down to K-Ye or
I
Ye-Way.
don't understand your fascination with terrible nicknames you give other people. They're not good. I want to point that out. So we're going to go with either Kanye or Yeezy.
I'm going to call him Ye-Way. No,
Fuck
K-Way.
you, Tim.
K-Way is what I'm going with.
Fuck
you. It is decided. Here's a question just to start us off. Why is this a K-Way album? Like, why? I don't understand. Or Kanye West, I guess, as he...
Right, okay. You're asking a fundamental question that may be the crux of why I don't hate this album. If I understand what you're asking, you are saying, in what world can you say that this is my album?
Exactly.
When you might be the least featured artist on it.
Yes. He doesn't sing lead on all the songs. Probably not like half of them at the very most. There are tons of guest singers. As far as I know, he doesn't play any instruments. It's hard to figure out from my, Wikipedia and his website and all this stuff. It doesn't really say how many of the sick beats on here he's programming. I don't know. And here's another thing. So I actually did a little statistics, calculated some stuff out because it's very...
Everyone loves statistics.
Yeah, there's statistics jokes coming, so brace yourself for that. Did you notice how many writers and producers are credited for each one of these songs?
Yeah, it's a basketball team.
There are 103 total people credited on this album.
Producers and writers?
Everyone. So that's
everyone.
This
okay, that's the total team to create this masterpiece.
Yes, there are 32 credited producers for the entire album. I didn't break that down by song. The most songwriters on any individual song is 22. 22 songwriters. And the most strange part is that's for Fade. And again, we'll get there, but that song basically has no lyrics, and it's sort of the only song on here that is quote unquote a solo effort is I Love Kanye, which makes sense. 13 of the 20 songs have 10 or more writers.
Jesus Christ.
The songs average 11 writers apiece with a standard deviation of plus or minus 5.4.
I hate you.
Yeah, I know. The only thing I can say is at least he's giving proper credit, which is a little surprising.
Yeah, it's impressive. This is going to speak to my overall feelings about this record, but I'll say it right up front. This is what began to make me listen to the record differently. I stopped viewing it as a Kanye West album and started to put him more in the role of a director-producer with a small writing credit on the back end. It's not his album per se. He's more just... I would not be shocked to find out that there are 44 tracks or more from the recording sessions of this album, and he just kind of picked 20 or so that he thought were okay.
He seems like a conductor in front of an orchestra. Seems like my role. But it's, to me...
But not the only conductor. And possibly not the principal conductor.
That's true, yeah.
Just the final word.
But it's also a little strange that there's this many writers, because so much of this, the lyrics, just sound like stream of consciousness that should have been edited down far more. In some parts, he's basically just Kaiser Sozeing these lyrics from things he sees around the room. It's surprising that there's no part of this where he's just like, I love lamp.
Right. There's a part of this album where he admits that he is just making things up. And we'll get there. I think we're getting into the meat of things a little too much. I know you did a little research to better understand the mind of Kanye West, the history of Kanye West. Want to take us through a brief and interesting look into what helped to create this modern-day musical genius, self-professed musical genius?
When we get to the reviews, it's apparently people have agreed with him. But
yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Timothy Richardson, Kanye West making of an asshole.
This is just a very brief overview. So he's born in Atlanta. His parents divorce when he's like 3, and he moves to Chicago with his mom. His dad, confusing history, former Black Panther, but I think by the time he's born, or at least old enough to get to know his dad, he's a Christian counselor. His mom has a PhD in English, and she is a university professor, although she would later quit to become his manager. And overall, he seems to have lived at the very worst, kind of like this middle-class life. Better than like a Fresh Prince. So the lyrical differences here, we should keep that in mind. He's lived overall a fairly charmed life.
Wait, the actual Fresh Prince or like the story from the opening of the hit 90s sitcom Fresh Prince?
I assume that they're pretty much the same.
Because, so he professes to live in South Chicago, which is not a safe place at all. Is that not the case? Is that what you're saying?
He did live in Chicago, and I don't know if it was South Chicago. I mean, there are obviously good areas of Chicago. At age 10, he moved to China with his mom for a little bit, and he apparently did well in school. His quote is, I got A's and B's, and I'm not even frontin'. So you can take that for what it's worth. He started kind of rapping early, like middle school, and worked as a producer for some people, notably Jay-Z, whenever he was in his 20s, programming some pretty sick beats for him.
You love sick beats.
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much his early life.
Let's paint a picture. What is life for Kanye West like during the making of this album?
Obviously, he's essentially a tabloid celebrity.
Attention whore.
Married to Kim Kardashian with that
Right, the
mess
queen of
a
attention
family.
whores.
And so there's some interesting things during this. So during the tour for this, his wife, I guess, was robbed in Paris. He made a bunch of comments supporting our current president, Clown Baby. But then he was briefly held in UCLA's psych facility, which again...
Probably a misunderstanding.
Yeah, but again, something we should keep in mind for the rest of this, because it sounds like it was written by a lunatic.
Yeah, many of these tracks are the audio recordings of a man in the midst of a manic episode.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's incredibly disjointed and unfinished.
So whenever he was working on this album, it was a work in progress. So the first bit of this that was released, he still changed, I'm not even sure, I think it was actual songs, but he definitely updated it several times after doing it. While finishing this album, he stated that he was in debt to the tune of $53 million and called for Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg to invest $1 billion in, and I'm quoting here, West's ideas. He would also call on other tech billionaires to help him. I wish I had the balls just to be like, hey, invest in my ideas. I don't really have a plan, but...
No, not really focusing on any particular industry. I just have great ideas. I'm going to need $1 billion.
I'm an idea man.
I deserve to be paid for them. God. And also, let's point out, none of that's true. He was not in debt for that album or at all. He did not need money.
Oh, was he not? I just assumed...
No, he's fine. He's fine. He's just crazy.
I just assumed that this egotistical maniac, he would never say that he was in debt if he wasn't. I would have assumed
he's just crazy.
Go the other way. All right.
He's fine. He's married to... his wife just prints money. They're good. I mean, so does he, as we'll see.
That's true.
This album did not do poorly.
Nope.
Kanye West is... Do not cry for Kanye West. That guy's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
He's just a crazy person. I mean, maybe for like the mental illness. That could bring you down.
People seem to like the mental illness aspect of him. Like that seems
people
to be...
enjoy watching living train wrecks.
So I kept typing out lyrics from this on my phone while I was listening to it.
That's a fool's errand.
Yeah. It kept auto-correcting just whole words. It was just like, well, you can't possibly have meant to write dick in this specific context. No one would ever do that. So we're going to change it to sock, because that's slightly less offensive.
Sock?
Yeah. It was pretty
Not
great.
dice, not dollar, sock. That's kind of the mental state of Kanye West as this album was being recorded and released. Tell me, before we decided to embark on this endeavor, had you heard this album? Had you heard any of the songs? Did you have any concept of what this was?
The only thing that I've heard from him was the song Wolves, which we will get to. The SNL 40th anniversary performance where he's, for some reason, performing it on his back. And, I mean, I didn't hate that specific version of it. As we will get to, this version is auto-tuned to shit, and it makes me real angry. But yeah, no, I mean, that was all I've heard. I have way more knowledge of who he is than his
Culturally,
music. Yes,
than his
and
music,
I try my best to keep any reference to this guy or Kim Kardashian or any of these other people as far away from me as possible. But
okay, yeah, and I'm sort of coming from this in the exact same position, even minus ever seeing any performance of this song. I, like you, try my very hardest to avoid any and all news regarding this fucking disaster of a family. By and large, I am very successful. And part and parcel with that is I can't listen to Kanye West music because I just fucking hate the guy. Yeah. However, I do at least have some background with his previous albums. I know a few of them. Not great, but enough to understand that this is a departure from those for a number of reasons. The only thing I knew about this album going in was that it was debuted at Madison Square Garden during a fashion show, which, quite honestly, before I did my full research on this, that sentence made no sense to me. What does that mean?
That's true. I believe he is also possibly gets as much money from designing clothes because the universe hates me individually, I guess.
Yeah. If anybody's unaware, go look online for the resale value of any of Kanye West's shoes alone. Yeezys range in resale value from, I think the lowest I found was about $200 up to and averaging about $2,300.
He once spilled mustard on a pink polo, and then a company produced pink polos with fake mustard stains on them, and after those sold out, they sold for like hundreds to possibly thousands of dollars on eBay.
Who bought them?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't have any friends with mustard shirts, right?
Not that I know of.
Me either.
If they do, they don't wear them around me.
Yeah, if they do, they need to be slapped until they take off the shirt and burn it, because you're an asshole. So neither of us really knew anything about this album. I knew a little bit about his music. You knew practically nothing about his music. And we endeavored on a week of nothing but Kanye in your brain. Track 1, Ultralight Beam. Opening of the album. You don't know what to expect. You're expecting kind of some sort of raps.
Yeah,
you're hit with a gospel choir.
Well, actually, we're initially hit with...
That's true.
Sampling of a child in an Instagram video.
Oh, is that who that was?
It is, yeah. Because I went to this Instagram. They definitely are pushing that pretty hard. But I think that's a pretty fitting start to this album, or a pretty fitting description of his career.
What, Ranting Baby?
Yes, that is approximately what I was going to say. But also just the obsession with social media, because, I mean, if he's not taking selfies and posting them to Instagram, he's talking about taking selfies and posting them to Instagram, or possibly thinking about it.
Best I can tell, it makes him millions of dollars, so good on him, I guess.
Yeah.
The part that I don't care for, and it's littered throughout this entire album, not necessarily this song, is that when he complains about having to deal with the consequences of constantly being in the public eye.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
dude, you can't have it both ways.
Yep.
It's not everybody look at me, now everybody look away. So back to Ultralight Beam. With the exception of the gospel choir, the first part of this song is mostly just kind of talking. This is the first time of many times that I would ask during the listening of this album, how many people are on this song?
It's very confusing. And some of it's sampling, some of it's people that are in studio, and it's very difficult to tell which is which. But the thought that I had in this song and then throughout the album, is this a Christian album? Is he super Christian, but maybe in like a psyche-R kind of way?
Okay, well, he calls this a gospel album. Right. He calls this a modern gospel album with swearing. There are several religious references, at least in this song.
Sure, yeah.
And they're actually pretty intelligent, which shocked me.
Yeah, so like I was confused because some of it sounds like this like weird psyche-R version of Christianity. Some of it sounds almost like kind of a Dylan Highway 61, just references thrown in. The internet says a lot of the lyrics of this song specifically are based on something called the Prayer of St. Francis. I don't have any idea what that is. And again, so there's a lot of Christian things in here. It's specifically this song. There's a lot of things like pray for Paris, questioning God's motives, I think, at some point. And it's strange because later songs will definitely revolve around how he likes pussy quite a bit.
And I think I have an explanation for that. Okay, so this is the part of the podcast where I ask, and this time I'm really going to fight you if you say no. Is this album a goof? And I say yes. I think it is a goof, and I will explain why. All of his previous albums had like these big heavy themes, and they were super tightly produced. They had these high concept focused themes, and it was all very tight, and this is a mess. This is a not quite finished, rambling nonsense, just using a lot of the common tropes that he himself brought to rap music, and then he's just taking them to their craziest extremes. This album is a compilation goof. It means nothing.
I agree that it means nothing. What I would argue is that it's not a goof. It's just him in the middle of a manic episode and everyone around him not saying anything,
not realizing it.
Yeah,
I don't think they know. I think it's a goof here because you got to argue what percentage of the album is he responsible for? Because I will concede there's a chance that it is a crazy person at the wheel and the rest everybody else thinks it's an act. It doesn't necessarily change my feeling about the album. Once I stopped taking it quite so seriously, it became a lot easier to handle.
I completely agree with that. A lot of the guests on this are taking it very seriously. One of the guest vocalists or featured player, I don't know what the fuck it is, on this.
I think guest vocalist. Featured player is definitely not right.
It's more of an SNL thing. So Chance the Rapper, which, again, for our loyal listeners, that is opposed to Chance the Flautist.
Chance the Flautist. Chance the Rodeo Clown.
There's a number of Chances.
Chance the Janitor.
So he felt the need. Apparently, there's a website, Rap Genius, that is like Genius Lyrics, but for rap. So he felt the need to tweet at them about his lyrics being misquoted. Here he says, "Yo, at Rap Genius, can you fix the annotations on ultralight beam? I'm saying the pressure I've been putting on his throat caused continental drift." I don't know what they misquoted him as, but that's stupid.
Well, yeah. But
So,
it's a goof, man.
Yeah, but then, okay.
He just doesn't want to be misquoted. Maybe they had something way more serious.
Yeah, well, okay, so then we get into his Harriet Tubman references, where Chance the Rapper.
Not Chance the Janitor.
Yes, he says that all of his references to Harriet Tubman here refer to, and this is a direct quote, his own leadership of all other artists toward independence and freedom.
Well, he's managed to become a multimillionaire without a record contract. That's what that's about.
All right.
I'm telling you, Tim, the deeper you dig into this thing, the more it makes sense. Maybe I'm going crazy.
All right,
I don't know.
You know what? We've got 19 songs more to go for you to sell me on this.
Let's build this case. All right, track 2. Father, Stretch My Hands, part 1. Is that definitely how he'd like me to read that?
I believe so. It's either that or the BBC announcer where it goes up a little bit at the end.
Okay. My most important note for this song, don't have sex with your shirt on. That's weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird.
And maybe don't have sex with people that are bleaching their assholes.
Right.
They have really strange priorities.
Oh, there's some great Genius annotations on this.
I can only hope to someday be rich enough to have asshole bleaching time.
You have the time, you have the money. All you lack is the will.
I'm telling you, Tim, the day I have enough free time that I can go decide to tinker around with bleaching my asshole is the day that I probably need to just give up on life.
Well, that's fair. It should
That
never
means
cross
I
your
have no
mind.
other pressing thoughts.
So it depends how many people are seeing that asshole. Because if it's a lot, that might be way higher on a priority list.
Yeah, I gotta say, is 20 a lot?
It is.
Oh.
It is more than average.
Oh.
Okay, so the lyrics that we're referring to are...
Of course.
Now if I fuck this model and she just bleach her asshole and I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole. Which, again, it starts with him sampling a pastor's preaching, which
part?
The
the song does,
yeah.
not that sentence. No. Okay, that's good.
Oh, yeah, no, it's the... Now I fuck
get
this
back to
model.
church.
Yeah. Okay.
Leviticus 1:13, and then now if I fuck this model, and she just bleached her asshole, said the Corinthians.
Right, and then he added, and I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole, so...
Wow, that's what makes him a genius.
Right? So, the Genius annotation, there's 2 parts. Part 1. Part the first. Anal bleaching is a cosmetic process designed to lighten skin color around the anus. It is popular with porn stars to make the dark hue of the anus look the same as the rest of their skin. Okay, that's part 1.
I would argue that part no one was confused about.
Well, it's in there. Part 2.
I would venture to say anybody that does not know why the asshole would be bleached
Need not know.
Yes. And nor would seek out that information.
Okay, so part number 2.
Okay.
Kanye plays on the duality of asshole. The girl literally bleached her asshole, and if Kanye gets bleach on his t-shirt, he's going to feel like an asshole, especially if this girl isn't his wife.
That person does not know what duality means.
Technically.
Fuck. Also, okay, no. First of all, what really happened is he tried to rhyme asshole with asshole, making him and me an asshole.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Kanye? This is taken from, what was the girl, the little blonde one, the skater girl said see you later girl, tried to, what is her name? She's Canadian. Yeah, you're useless.
Tanya Harding.
Nope. Definitely not a
That's
singer.
all I got.
She's the little punk girl. What is her name?
Avril Lavigne.
There you go.
Yes.
It's the first time in 12 years anyone's gone Avril Lavigne.
So this is amazing. My non-Charles roommate, first year, you know who I'm referring to? In college,
yep.
yes.
Yep.
He, large
We'll
hunter.
call him Earl.
Yeah, Earl. That is good. Okay. So he is big hunter, drives the giant jacked up truck, and is pretty badass. One night, he was sitting on the couch. An Avril Lavigne song came in, but he just drunkenly pulls out his lighter and starts waving it back and forth. Yeah.
Did he know you were there?
He did, but it wasn't.
Oh.
It was very much a I'm in the moment. You know,
Wow.
it was a we were 18 and drinking kind of thing. It wasn't a this'll be funny.
That guy also had an unhealthy obsession with the movie Captain Ron.
Oh, he loved Captain Ron. I forgot. Didn't you buy him Captain Ron?
Yeah. He loved it so much.
Yeah, it's the only nice
Seems-
thing you've ever done for him.
Sorry, we got off track with that asshole line. But yeah, don't have sex with your shirt on. What's that about? This is where I started to notice and remember a key aspect to the Kanye West album, especially starting, I don't know, like halfway through, the auto-tune.
Goddamn auto-tune.
This just keeps happening.
Yes.
So forgive me if I bring it up again. I will try not to. Assume on every track following this track, if Kanye West has any significant part to the song, it's in auto-tune.
Yeah, this
Because
record is lousy with auto-tune.
it is lousy with auto-tune.
Yeah.
So you have nothing else for this second track?
No, other than why do you need to sound like a robot for long stretches?
Great. So track 3, this is just part 2. There's something in particular that I love about this track. You may not have picked up on it having been raised a filthy foreigner. There are several samplings, not just in this track, but it's the first one I heard it in, of Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2.
I did notice that. It's more later.
Yeah, but it starts out with a perfect, and that hearing that and then hearing it again later in other songs made me super happy. I will give them that.
I didn't catch it in this song, but I did in later ones. Yeah.
This was the first song for me, and this would become a problem throughout this album, where because of the way that the songs just dramatically change, and I don't just mean like, not just in who's singing, but that happens too, but the style of the music, the instruments involved, will just completely change halfway through the song, forcing me to pick up my phone and make sure, oh, do we skip tracks so that I write notes about the correct song that I'm listening to? No, same song, it's just completely different than the first part. And in this one I noticed, it just turns into a Daft Punk song.
There's a couple that turn into that. They get the weird techno feel at some point.
Yeah, yes, there are many songs in which I said, boy, it sounds like he's about to drop the beat, and then no.
And again, the outro of this is insane. It sounds
Yes.
like sort of an automated text message reading program from like the late 90s voice.
Yeah, not a good one. Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's not a very long song track. It's basically, I guarantee you, he actually took the last song and cut the last 2.5-3 minutes off of it, made it a second song.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's just utter nonsense otherwise.
Yeah.
Still doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, this brings us to track number 4, Famous. Initial thoughts.
This is just Mad Libs or South Park manatees putting stuff together. None of the ideas go together in this, but who cares because it rhymes.
I wrote down 2 things here. Actually, I wrote down 3 things. 2 things negative, 1 thing's very positive. First one was, I think that he was legit trying on this song. On the other ones, it kind of sounds a little weird, kind of high concept. You got the gospel mixed with some raps. Like, he's just sort of doing a thing. He's settling into the album. Okay, whatever. This one, I felt like this was the next evolution of Kanye West. This is him trying to do something slightly innovative on a sound that he's already created for himself. And it doesn't sound very good. Listening to this, specifically this song, in the way that he samples and mixes and the way that it's produced, I think that he wanted this album to be his pet sounds. It's a lot of unique and bizarre things that individually are not necessarily new, but they're not what you would expect in this genre of music. And in some of the songs, they're even arranged quite well. But what I said that he got instead is U2's All That You Can't Leave Behind. If you don't know what album that is, you're proving my point. But more specifically, if you do remember the awesome U2 singles of Elevation and Beautiful Day, that's that album. It's just very, very middling and largely can be ignored.
I don't agree. Well, I agree that he might have had the idea of pet sounds.
I'm not saying it is, Tim.
Well,
I'm
no.
not saying it is.
I'm saying like that makes sense. Juxtaposing different things together like that idea makes sense. I still don't know. It's impossible to tell what he's thinking with any of this.
It's also hard to imagine that he was ever trying terribly hard.
And another weird thing with it, so this is a song that I can kind of buy this is a goof, because it's a song called Famous about being famous, and you've got the Taylor Swift weird thing. It continues that strange obsession with I think we still might have sex, and I made that bitch famous. God damn it, that stuck in my head.
No, yeah, absolutely. There are catchy songs on here. I'm not going to lie.
They're catchy lines.
Hooks.
They're not catchy
they're
songs.
lines. Yeah, you're right. right. Well, because the song never remains consistent enough
Yeah.
throughout for you to ever actually get like the rhythm or anything stuck in your head. Dramatically switches, but I agree. There are lines and hooks that get stuck in my head. Like, this is a God dream. But sticking with Famous for a minute, the line about Taylor Swift, that kind of shit, it's amazing how many articles people wrote about that line. Who gives a flying fuck? He knows how people are going to react. He put it in there so that you would write about it. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's absurd. The only thing that's kind of weird about that is, do you remember 1993 hip-hop? Like NWA, something like that?
Yes.
So,
yeah, more of a gangster rap.
Exactly.
Actually, what's happening in South Central LA.
Earlier rap, they would like call out or diss, I believe the word is, other rapists. They were gangsters.
Famously, the East Coast West Coast feud.
Exactly.
Ending with the death of possibly two of the best rapists.
Yes. So okay, and that seems to be sort of what he's doing here, like just in that vein.
But with a 90-pound white girl.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. You know, I'm sure there will be several drive-by shootings involving these two posses, culminating.
I mean, that's 2017, man. It's just Twitter flame wars
Yeah.
have replaced guns and bullets. Which, I mean, I guess that part's good. I'm not asking for people to get shot, but nobody's going to think you're cool for making fun of a 23-year-old wonderkin millionaire. I don't care. You were a dick to her. All you did was remind me of that time you were a dick. And I know that you called her and asked her politely if you could use that line before you ever released the album, so who gives a shit?
Yeah, there's definitely a video of that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like, actually that?
Of them having a conversation about this line before.
Who recorded it?
I don't know. It's a recording on Kanye West's end.
Okay, so can that guy do anything without proving to other people he did it?
No, he's Trump.
Oh.
You know, whenever his Mike Pence leaves the ball game, he's certainly going to tweet about it saying that he ordered it.
Who's this vice president going to be? Joe Biden.
Yes! Diamond Joe.
God, that might be the only way to get him in the office, but it might work. Can you be vice president again? If it's a different president? I think you can.
I don't think there's a term limit on it.
Yeah, I think there's a sequential term limit, maybe.
I don't know for vice president. I don't know. Doesn't
I
matter.
have no idea. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So there's embarrassing lyrics with this as well, such as, for all the girls that got dick from Kanye West, if you see him, give him Kanye's best. This seems to be... Have you ever heard the internet meme, A Day in the Life of Kanye West? Are you familiar with it? Yeah, okay.
Enlighten everyone, though.
It's basically a song/poem somebody wrote, like, after a long day of work, Kanye West goes to his Kanye nest to take his Kanye rest. He wakes up feeling his Kanye best, etc., etc. Things rhyming with West. I assume that's what he's referencing here. And again,
Probably.
he seems to be a fairly intelligent, if insane, person, so I can't tell which is winning out. Is this true self-awareness, or is this some sort of, again, Trump-like, ooh, they mentioned my name, people like me. They wouldn't be
I don't know.
It's impossible to tell what this man is thinking.
Is he crazy or a genius?
He's not.
No, he's not a genius.
No, he's definitely crazy. I don't think he's a genius, but there's probably some middle ground there.
Is he crazy or a media whore with an excellent exploitative team?
He definitely has that.
Right, but is he volunteering to take part in it, or is he the victim? He's the victim of mental illness. I want to point that out.
Yes, he is.
Okay, so before we move off of Famous, there's one thing in particular about this song I want to point out. It's the bong bong belongs.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down as well. Sister Nancy.
I didn't know who it was.
Yeah.
I love them. First of all, I don't know how you bring somebody in and just be like, we're just going to have some bings and bongs. So, really just open it up.
You're misinterpreting this. This one definitely is. It's a song by somebody named Sister Nancy, and he's sampling it, and then he karaoke's over it. That's what's happening here. Yep.
There's a whole song of that?
I haven't heard the whole song, but there's at least another song that has the bam bam, I, bam bam, bam bam bam, dilla. Yeah, that's not this song. That's a different song.
Okay, well, hold on. I don't know any of the words you just said. I just heard about bong bong belong or some shit.
I'm reading
It's the same thing?
Yeah, it's what you're thinking of. I'm reading it the way the internet wrote it out.
I'm not claiming to actually understand the gibberish. So you're telling me that my favorite part of this song is, in fact, not the song.
Yes, it is. If you'd like this song, you can look up Sister Nancy, bam, bam, bamming.
I think it's bomb, bomb.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Again, I want to point out that your grasp of English when you are forced to read something out loud you've never heard another person say is suspiciously that of a foreigner.
I have sort of a Charlie thing in my brain.
If you are some sort of bizarre German secret agent, you have to tell me.
I do not. That is not a requirement.
Touche. That usually works. Okay, moving on from famous. Track number 5, Feedback. I'm going to start with a compliment.
Okay.
Which is not easy for me to say, but I applaud his effort here to at least try to introduce a different sound into a hip-hop/rap song. He's using some sort of keyboard and or a woodwind.
Musically, for periods of up to 30 seconds, this album is pretty good. In 30-second bits.
I tried very hard. Once I kind of hit the point of maybe thinking I might not hate this album, I then was forced to try to think of a situation where I would sit down and listen to this album, and that's where I drew a blank. When in the fucking hell am I going to sit down and listen to this?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not going to listen to it in the car while I'm driving around. You'll go insane. But at least for this song, I appreciate that he's trying to do something different. It's kind of catchy. And then I realized, and this is a theme on a few of these songs, there's not very many instruments. There's not a lot going on in the song, and I like that. I tend to like them more when there's less happening. Sure. So in other words, I appreciate the silence of this song.
Yeah, less happening and shorter is good in my book.
I am not a fan of the Oprah interlude.
I agree. Yeah, that's the end part of it, the hands up, then the cops shot us. I'm with you so far. That seems like an important issue to discuss. And then you get the, wait a second, everybody here, I'm the ghetto Oprah, you get a fur, big booty bitch for you, woo. That shouldn't be adjacent.
Nope. Which again backs up my argument this entire album is a goof.
I mean, Portugal the Man, man. Portugal the Man is my argument against that.
Goof.
No,
that
I know, but this is exactly what they did.
No, this isn't the same thing. Because this isn't the huge departure for him. This is a bizarre iteration on stuff he's already done, without anybody who's a good enough friend to tell him not to release it. Do you have anything else for this?
I have lots more for this, actually.
Oh, hit me up. I got nothing.
This whole thing has this... Kanye West is so crazy. It reminded me of like the freshman in college style bragging of just, I've had so many beers. Can you believe how many beers I've had?
It is definitely that attitude. Not only am I cool, but let me tell you how cool I am and how hard it is to be this cool.
Yeah.
He does a lot of complaining.
Then there's name one genius that ain't crazy.
Right.
This, I think that's him being genuine.
Yes, and he believes himself to be a genius.
Yes, and it seems like a pretty shitty retrospective, like, rationalization of a narcissistic asshole. Also, Galileo, Da Vinci, Einstein, Nathan Leopold.
You definitely don't need to name him because that's just a ridiculous sentence. He just couldn't be more wrong.
Yeah,
Wait, did you say Leopold?
That one's probably a bad example because that guy definitely murdered some people.
Yeah. Wait.
I was
also getting away with that.
I was also going to say Tesla, but that's also probably a pretty bad example.
Fell in love with a pigeon.
Well,
it is the most seductive of birds. Tried to marry it. Tesla facts.
Okay, so there's also driving in the same car they killed Pac in.
Right.
This is the point we should revisit his personal history. He's very much not a gangster in any form. Nope. He's kind of an Instagram nerd. He's Donald Glover. He just refuses to admit it.
He's the what's his name from Bob's Burgers? Daryl, who's the little kid, the little nerd. Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the black Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, Donald Glover.
Oh,
that's what I said.
Less cool.
Well, right.
Well, way less talented.
Yeah.
Donald Glover, we love you.
We do.
Keep it up, Lando.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I wanted, so there's this line, awesome Steve Jobs mixed with Steve Austin.
Right.
There's a fun genius annotation here. K-Way says he's a mixture of Steve Jobs, the former co-founder and CEO of Apple, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, the retired WWE wrestler. He's got brains and brawn. I hate these people so much.
So this makes me ask, I have to ask this question now, and there's other songs that bring it up even more. I question the people listening to this album and their enjoyment of the lyrics, if only because they're so self-congratulatory. It makes me ask the question, are people listening to this album and they're amused by Kanye's success, they're happy for him, envisioning themselves as him, or are they just not even listening, they don't care what he's saying? But like so much of it is so self-congratulatory and how cool Kanye West is that it kind of just grossed me out. I was like, I don't want to sing about how awesome you are.
So, and the fun part is whenever he brings on guest vocalists, in a lot of places he makes them sing about how cool he is, which is pretty great. But I think based on the reviews that I've read, I think people are listening to these lyrics and I think people are liking them. But you have to kind of understand that's sort of what a good portion of rap is singing about how you're awesome.
I guess that's true. I remember when rap used to just sing about their day, like what they did and who they saw and what they were going to do later.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was a good day or if it was a bad day and you had to get your gat. God, music's changed, Tim, and I'm just not ready for it. Anything else for track number 5?
Nope.
All right, that brings up number 6, Low Lights. A song ostensibly about God, though I question, is this song supposed to be about Kanye, and does Kanye West think he is God?
I have that a little bit later, that exact comment.
Fair.
I'll bring it up whenever we get to... I think
The
it's
song that made you question
actually,
whether
I think
or not
it's,
he was claiming to be Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's the next song, because he refers to himself as a walking, living, breathing God. So yeah, I wrote down, is this not Christian? Is it... he's the God that he's referring to throughout this. I don't know. But yeah, so again, I don't know.
I think so.
It makes sense. And that would make sense.
Basically, the whole song's about a lady singing about how someone's going to save her and how great he is, and one day he's going to take her to the... presumably it's God, and she's singing about heaven. But I don't know if she's just singing about Kanye, his house in the Hamptons.
I think he's tricking these people. I think what he's doing is he's just like, write a gospel song, and then he puts in all these references to him being God, so that you as the listener will assume, she must have been singing about Kanye. But no, he lied to her. Kanye seems to have basically nothing to do with this song, unless he's playing piano, but I don't think he is.
Yeah, I don't think so. Probably not. Yeah, other than that, I had nothing to say about this song because it's largely not a Kanye West song. So therefore I had very little to hate about it or give a shit about it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, let's move on then. Highlights.
This one, so it's clearly supposed to be a pair with the previous song given the names, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Is he singing about Equinox Gym?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That does come up.
I didn't look at the lyrics, and then when I started to look at the lyrics, I actually stopped because it was making it hard for me to enjoy the album. And so I didn't look at this song in particular that I can remember, but when I finally figured out that he was singing what I thought to be Equinox Gym, I just couldn't stop laughing.
It's ridiculous.
This is I assume what you were referencing when you say he's just Kaiser So saying it. He's just looking around, and he was, working on his abs one day and was just like, any ladies in this here Equinox Gym? Like, it would have been more ridiculous if he had just been talking about, like, going to Subway and then driving past a Curves.
It's just silly nonsense.
Yeah, again, I think it's a goof.
Yeah, like there's lines in here, 21 Grammys lines, so usually winning awards in the past isn't the focus of future songs. There's also...
But again, a lot of this is tied back to just bragging about how cool he is.
It apparently took 10 credited writers on this song to come up with, sometime I'm wishing my dick had GoPro so I could play that shit back in slow-mo. I mean, yeah.
Nothing more arousing than the inside of a person. Oh, wait. Nope. That's the opposite.
Yeah.
God damn it.
There's also a bunch of lyrics in this song specifically about impregnating white women. Is this a common hip-hop trope?
I think so.
It is, because I looked it up afterward.
Oh.
It seems like there's a lot of songs, and there's been quite a few Kanye West songs previously that have been about this. There's like articles and possibly a book written about it. But
is it meant maliciously?
The argument that the internet makes, and I take no responsibility for this, is that it's mostly revenge against the white man. That's all. I mean, that's...
But what if I don't care?
Well, secretly
have
you
as
must.
many mixed...
I don't know.
No, what do you mean secretly I must?
Well,
have as many mixed race babies as you'd like. I really don't care.
No, I agree.
They're usually the most attractive people.
But here's my question. Is this where racist assholes are getting this idea?
Oh, maybe. Well, okay, so hold on. Chicken or the egg, man?
That's actually...
Are black people actually doing this, or at least claiming to do this as a form of revenge, and so white racist assholes are getting angry about it? Or did white racist assholes claim that this was happening, and now black people are just making fun of them? I want to believe the latter.
Yeah, I don't know.
I assume it's not happening. But again, it could be because no one would notice, because nobody's keeping track or cares.
I think there's probably a large contingent of people based on recent events that might actually care. It's weird.
Based on presidential poll numbers, I think it's roughly 34% of America cares. It was 36 just after the election, before the inauguration. I think it might have even been 41% of people cared. Now 34% of people do seem to care about the color of people's skin. I got nothing else for highlights.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Genius annotation here. The lines, I bet me and Ray J would be friends if we ain't
yes.
loved the same bitch. Yeah, he might have hit it first. Only problem is I'm rich. The genius annotation is Kim Kardashian rose to fame in 2007 following a leak of her infamous Ray J sex tape.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. Then it goes on to say, Ray J's net worth is apparently $6 million, where Kanye's, despite his personal debt problems, sits at $145 million. That doesn't make sense put together.
Well, again, because there are no personal debt problems.
Right. Yeezy is simply too far ahead to care at this point. It's not about who hit it first, it's about who hit it right. Ray J got a few nights, but Kanye West got a lifelong commitment in a marriage lasting longer than 72 days. Good dick'll do that.
Wait.
Yeah, that's how it ends. Good dick'll do that.
Listen, I've seen that Ray J video. I don't think that's bad dick. Tim, hey, listen, I will be the first to say I don't know dick. I don't. I got what I got, and that's my basic pool of experience. I believe it to be very suitable dick. I watched what Ray J was doing. The guy's got a hog on him. I think it's good dick, Tim.
I'm editing this out.
You better not.
I'll just... Yeah, I don't...
Selectively edit it to make it sound like I love Ray J's dick.
Well, it seems like you were impressed with... Do you want to see it again?
I'm trying to understand this album. If you don't want to get into the mind of the artist, you can just stop right now.
Let me ask you this. In doing your research for this album, did you view either Ray J or Kanye's dick to evaluate which is the good dick that'll do that? No?
I coincidentally saw Ray J's dick. I have never seen Kanye's. That could also be good dick. Listen, can't everybody have good dick, Tim? Listen, no matter how great Ray J's dick is, it doesn't make Kanye's dick any less. We are getting off topic.
You know, I think we might actually be able to solve this Kanye West problem, society's Kanye West problem, if you just explain that one concept to him. That might be it.
Yeah, you know what? If I put it into terms of dicks, he might get it. As this album points out, he's got a weird fascination with his dick and dicks getting sucked. But we'll get there. Track 8, Freestyle 4. This is not a song.
My first note for this is rah, rah.
Yeah, my first note is I do not like being roared at.
I don't know what that is.
It's really stupid.
Egyptian phlegm scatting?
Did you say Egyptian phlegm scatting?
Yes.
Well, there's no scat. It's just phlegm. It's all phlegm and scat. If anybody's unfamiliar with phlegm scatting, go listen to the Corn episode.
It is at least 80-20 phlegm to scat. I'll give you that.
90-10 at least.
90-10. I will agree to 90-10.
Where's the scat, Tim?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. If I could explain what this is...
I called them tiger roars.
It's awesome.
I hate it. This song really pissed me off. It's about how much he likes banging people.
Lines of like, what if we fuck in the middle of this motherfucking dinner table? Would everyone start fucking? Jesus Christ, guy, get some non-sycophants around you to give you honest feedback. This isn't good.
It's not good. This album could have been at least 19 tracks shorter. It's just not good. I have nothing other to say. Don't tiger roar at me. And how creative. You wrote a song about how much you like sexing people.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Track number 9. We're almost halfway there. My God, I love Kanye. What do you think of this song?
This is what Son House's Grinning in Your Face would have been if it was originally recorded in 2016 by some sort of bizarre Twitter-obsessed Son House. And I feel bad mentioning his name in this context. I apologize to his estate.
I called this the best song. I think that I might listen to only once, but I might listen to a Kanye West spoken word out. This was at least creative. Like, it's clever, it's short, it's to the point. I get what he's doing. He even laughs at the end. Like, he's just fucking around. It's not bad.
I hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is the one that I actually listened to the words and was like, that's not bad.
I think it's amazing that he has enough introspection to write, and I love you like Kanye loves Kanye, but apparently not enough introspection to not make this stupid fucking song. I hate it.
Yep.
I hate it.
Okay.
He says
Interesting.
he says Kanye 25 times in 43 seconds.
Well, I think that was sort of the stylistic choice. I mean, if
hate
you go
it.
back to classic poetry, Tim, it's not unusual to have a poem that either begins or ends with the same word. I'm serious. I think you're being too hard on this album.
In these classic poetry
Yes.
that you're reading,
Yes.
the songs that begin and end each line, are they usually the author's name?
No.
Okay.
It's usually Ham.
You need to stop reading exclusively ham-focused poems.
They're written by a doctor. He seems pretty obsessed with ham. And
Yeah,
eggs.
he does. Anyway.
Yeah, we're getting off topic. Yeah, so I think this is the best song on the album.
No, I hated it.
You're right too, but by my best estimate, he completely understood that it was a joke.
I agree that he's probably joking for most of this. And it is nice to see that he's not as insane and dense as he was portrayed on South Park with the gay fish, but
Not that obtuse. But again, he made this album. So one step forward, two steps back. I'll give you that. Agree to disagree. Let's move on. Track 10, Waves.
I thought
This is the start of electronica in full force. This song in particular, I was like, this sounds kind of like a Big Data song or maybe a Bad Broken Bells song.
I thought this was overall just very forgettable. I don't really have anything to say about it.
Yeah, my notes say not worth commenting. Fuck it. Let's move on. So, Waves is boring. Track 11, FML. Is this supposed to be for family?
I don't know.
I did take joy in hearing excessive use of the word hoe in this song. Good to know that's still in the mix. Didn't know we were still using hoe. I thought that went out in 94.
There's a line in here, I will die for those I love. That doesn't really carry the same weight after you write I love Kanye. Just
Also, I don't think you would die for Kanye. Yeah, again, kind of forgettable though. This song does end with what I described as a robot on heroin. It's just this really odd, high-pitched voice kind of talking in the background, and it's kind of moves in and out of pitch. I don't know what's happening. There's just a lot of noise in this song, and I didn't really give a shit.
I kind of get why he likes autotune after listening to him sing for real on this.
Yes, he can't sing, and I think he may know that.
And the other, so there's asking me why the hell I text in code. This line,
I didn't hear this line.
it's the genius annotation. Let me read the.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if I learn someday that you're the asshole writing all these.
Every album we do.
You're just out there on genius lyrics, just writing all this bullshit with your fake nicknames.
Remember the last time in Mexico? Remember that last time, the episode, asking me why the hell I text in code 4 times just to say don't text me ho. So the genius annotation for this is pretty great. Kim's asking Kanye why he texts in code, even though Kanye is telling the hoes to go away. She suspects he's texting with hoes. Why else would he use a code?
Okay, I guess.
The weird thing, though, is this is the first album we've come upon, and it's a fairly recent album compared to Korn or Sublime or something like that, where 90% of the lyrics have some idiot that's got something to say about it.
God, yes. And debating them. Anything else for this one? I got nothing. All right, that brings up track 12, Real Friends.
His apple scruffs.
What?
His apple scruffs.
What are apple scruffs?
The George Harrison song.
Oh, I don't know that song.
You should listen to that song. It's very good.
Or maybe I don't know the name of that song. Why do you say that?
Oh, that's just they're singing about hangers-on outside of Abbey Road Studios.
Got it. This is definitely a track where he really harps on how hard it is to be Kanye, and how he is always the victim and never the instigator. And in any situation where you've heard that he's the asshole, that's definitely not the case. And it kind of goes on like that for like 5 minutes?
So they have that aspect, and then there's also this, please don't pressure me with that bullshit. Yeah, it's him complaining about being in the public eye, being successful, and being busy.
All of the things that he worked for.
He's kind of doing like the Tim Burton, I'm just a weird, sensitive, misunderstood artist. I can't be bothered with the problems of you mortals.
Right.
If you're
Bullshit, pay taxes. By this point, I was between tracks 10, 11, and 12. I was just like, I get it. You're so misunderstood. And this brings up your favorite song, track 13, Wolves.
Yeah, I didn't care for this version.
Nah.
It's all in auto-tune for some reason.
Because he can't sing.
Yeah.
And he can't speak, I guess.
I guess.
It opens with the blue lady from The Fifth Element, as best I can tell, singing some sort of weird space opera. It's at least sort of interesting from a production standpoint. I don't think it's hip-hop or rap.
Yeah, I kind of liked the backing music and the weird, I'm assuming it's supposed to be like a wolf whaley kind of noise.
Yeah, I
what
think
you're
so.
referring to.
It's kind of a lady wolf, I guess.
Yeah.
I also thought it sort of sounded like a Deadmau5 song if you were to strip away like 2 or 3 tracks, so the noise. It's sort of just a basic techno song that never, like I said, drops the beat.
The very beginning of this, the bass line really reminded me of Cold War Kids' St. John.
Yes. I also thought that the lyrics formatting reminded me a lot of Genuine's Pony, where they would just take a single song or a single word and put it over 2 syllables. Like they just kind of say 1 and 2 sentence or 1 and 2 word lyrics every beat. If you listen to the two, it's very similar. That drove me crazy. And then honestly, I found myself in later listenings enjoying this song until he starts rapping. And then kind of ruins it.
I really like the line, "We surrounded by the fucking wolves." I think he delivers that really well. Doesn't really have anything to do with the rest of the song, other than the fact that it's titled Wolves, but...
Yeah, it's kind of the only thing that has to do with the title.
And there's more weird allusions to his divinity,
Yes,
I guess.
I do believe he thinks he is divine and or like God, or God speaks through him.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
Either
Let's
way,
have a
I don't
baby
agree.
without fucking, yo.
Oh, is that in there?
Yeah.
Ugh. Oh, that's right. He does want to be her Joseph.
Well, I guess Joseph and Jesus at varying parts.
Yes. He is the Alpha and Omega, I guess is what he's saying.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, okay. Anything else for Wolves?
Nope.
All right, moving right along then. Frank's track. So Frank's track originally was on Wolves.
Yeah, it was supposed to be the outro, I think.
I think it was the outro.
Yeah.
I think that you and I listened to like the 5th iteration of this album. So the first version that got released on Tidal only, Jay-Z's failed streaming service that's somehow still going. That first version actually had this as part of that song. Not that it really matters. It was simple, short. I mostly enjoyed it because there's not really any Kanye West on it.
The only thing I'll point out is the "Life is Precious, We Found Out" line, which is apparently a reference to his mom's death. But the "We Found Out" part, for whatever reason, for a very specific reason, every time I heard this, I just thought of no one knew healthcare could be so complicated. The rest of us were aware. You maybe just found out, but
yeah,
we know.
Yeah, nothing to say. Let's move on. Okay, so if there's any single track I hate on this album, it's track 15, Silver Surfer Intermission. If anyone was worried that voicemail and or answering machine recordings were no longer on rap albums, do not worry.
Yeah,
they're still here in full force.
I had completely forgotten that hip-hop likes to randomly have like skits as tracks for some reason.
Still alive and well. However, so I have some real questions here. Is this a conversation?
I don't think so.
What if information is in fact transferred in the series of words that are said back and forth? Because for the love of God, I couldn't understand what was being said.
Yeah, I don't have any idea either. I read the lyrics very closely. I don't know what this is.
I know that one person appreciates the other quite a bit.
Yeah.
I know that one gentleman may or may not be the Silver Surfer.
I'm almost certain they are not, but okay.
Okay. I said may or may not. Okay. Then you know what? I have no bearing for understanding this track.
Yeah, nothing at all. There are 2 credited writers, which I don't understand, because, again, there's no writers. It's just like a high voicemail. But again, this is other evidence that, he's not a gangsta. You can go ahead and disregard any Tupac-related lyrics that came before this.
And he, to his credit, credit's the wrong word, he mostly does steer away from trying to sound quote-unquote hard.
That's true, but there are moments.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Okay, let's move on from Silver Surfer. Moving into the final quarter here, 30 hours.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
There
are 2 things about this track for me. One, there's a very funny line in it where he says he hits the gym all chest, no legs. Made me laugh quite a bit. So good job, whoever wrote that. Probably not Kanye West, one of the 68 people on that track.
There are 9 people writing on this that are not Kanye West, so it's kind of up in the air.
So, and then the other thing on this track, several episodes. If you've heard them before, if this is your first one, let me explain. I multiple times accuse people that we listen to on this podcast of not having written a song before they hit record.
Yep.
This track, he admits it.
Yeah, he does.
He admits that it is an ad-lib track, that he had not written jack shit, and then he takes a phone call, which is just rude. I would not take a phone call during a Kanye West concert if for some reason I was forced at gunpoint to attend one. So I would ask that he not take a phone call in the middle of me listening to his album. Also, bad form, Kanye. Put a fucking custom ringtone on there. What are you, 50?
Okay.
Yeah.
He also, there's some weird stuttering featured in this. There's
Yeah,
reminded
I think that's
me of
on
Rick
purpose.
and Morty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I am sure. Also, I'm not going to say 100% that the phone call wasn't on purpose as
It
well.
was 100% on purpose.
Yeah.
100% on purpose.
Yeah, there's also the other pet peeve of this show where he starts just listing places he goes, things that he's doing, time zones. This is not a song.
Yeah, one of many tracks that I listed. This is not a song. Anything else for...
No.
Okay, let's move on.
17, no more
17.
parties in L.A.
First thoughts.
For me, the beginning of this reminds me of Summertime from Sublime.
Okay.
And the rest of the vocals have what you were sort of describing with the making single-syllable words multi-syllable and putting them across beats.
Yep.
I called it an Eminem quality because the voice
Yeah.
sounds like that to me.
My first thought was, God damn it, this is 6 minutes. Way too long. It's going to be 3 songs in one, which it was. I said that I like whoever's rapping on this that isn't Kanye. I would rather be listening to that album.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, I believe it is.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think I would rather listen to Kendrick Lamar over Kanye West.
Okay, so I have... First of all, you've got some NBA Jam swish in here.
Yes,
'Cause,
that's
again,
what it was.
He's just a nerd. This is what I expected most of this album to sound like.
Okay, yes, I thought this was the most traditional, like, okay, he's made some tweaks to his sound, but yeah, okay, I get it. This is at least an album of rap songs. It's not what we got.
I mentioned Mad Libs earlier as kind of how
Yes.
this was being put together. I found this very funny. Of the 12 credited writers on this, one of them goes by the pseudonym Mad Lib.
That's not a pseudonym. That is definitely where they sat down and filled out a Mad Lib, and then they recorded it to a beat, Tim.
Yeah.
That's not a pseudonym.
Absurd.
I wonder if Mad Libs could sue them for... Because they provide a scaffolding for those stories.
Yeah. Just a couple other lines. This good dick will put your ass to sleep.
Yep. I was going to say, this is the song where I really got frustrated because it's happening in the exact same point in the album as some of our other episodes, where 2/3 of the way into the album, all of a sudden the songs just take a crazy turn towards dicks and dick sucking. And having dick sucked and how great dicks are.
So let me ask you this. Was this part of your evidence that in addition to Ray J, Kanye also has good dick?
I'm not saying Kanye has good dick, but that lyric, the genius lyric was implying he had better dick than Ray J.
Yes.
And I'm saying, I've only seen Ray J's dick and how he be slinging it. And I'm telling you that's some good dick, my friend. Now, again, I don't know dick. Okay? I know my dick, and I've seen some other dicks in film dicks, but...
Oh, that's going to be the tagline.
Right.
Oh,
so
we
I'm
should
just-
review gay pornography.
Out.
Oh,
Out.
all right.
Super out. Stay on task.
Okay.
I'm not going to watch gay porn with you.
Well, it doesn't have to be with me as long as I know we're watching. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not happening. Are you sure that it's NBA Jams? Because I thought the sounds might have been Tecmo Bowl.
Looked it up after, and
Oh,
the internet
okay.
says it's Swish, or NBA Jam as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, again, he's just a nerd.
Yeah, and that was my favorite parts. Anytime he sampled video games, made me laugh really hard. Anything else?
The only other one, so there's the Kendrick Lamar, hell, you know my repertoire is like a wrestler. I show you the ropes, connect the dots. So the genius annotation for this, K-dot. See, other people are doing this.
Ugh.
That's
No
not
one's
me.
doing that.
That is on the internet, and I did not write all of these.
Allegedly.
K-Dot, and then in parentheses, connect the dots, get it? Boasts his sexual prowess. With so much versatility, Kendrick's able to switch sex positions like a wrestler, whose repertoire would include a number of moves they can execute. And then
I may have to ban this from this this show. These people are fucking stupid.
They're so funny.
Okay, can we move on?
Yeah.
Please.
Yep.
Track 18, facts, in parentheses, Charlie Heat Vision.
Version.
Is that the guy's
Is it
name?
Vision or version?
Oh, is it version? I might have read what I wanted to see.
Version.
Oh, never mind. That's not as funny. I was hoping it was called Charlie Heat Vision.
That would be better.
I have in all caps Yay, more bragging.
I read lots of bragging about being wealthy. This has some Street Fighter samples in it as well.
Sonic Boom.
There's Perfect as well.
Perfect's in there again.
And then there's the Bill Cosby line. Do anybody feel bad for Bill Cosby? Apparently the same month...
He defended Bill Cosby.
Right. I read a couple CNN articles about that.
And again, is he crazy? Or is he just trying to get attention?
I think he just wants his name in the news.
Okay. Which is still a form of crazy, but a lot less troubling. But other than the Street Fighter samplings, I just didn't care. I was like, okay, great. Yep, so hard to be you again. Want to move on?
Yep.
Okay. We're so close. We're so close to the end. Track 19... Fade.
This song is definitely techno, right?
It is. I wrote, is this Moby's weapon of choice? Because it starts with that like hilarious, shitty 80s like soundtrack loop. I don't know how to describe it. It's not good, but it made me laugh so hard, and it definitely sounded like Moby's weapon of choice. I kept waiting for Christopher Walken to just start dancing through my living room. Sadly, it did not happen. He claims to think too much in this song. Don't think that's the case.
I didn't write much for this. The only other point I have is that this is the song with 22 credited writers and basically nothing in the way of lyrics. I don't know what all these people are doing.
Yeah, what did they write?
I don't know.
This brings us track 20, the final track, Saint Pablo.
Oh, thank God.
There's some gunshots in here for some reason.
Yeah, well, he is gangsta. So.
Well, yeah, gangsta as fuck. Another song about how great he is and how all his raps are great.
Yeah, this one was the most egregious in that.
Most self-congratulatory, I think.
I know, and the most influential. That Time cover was just confirmation. This generation's closest thing to Einstein. Fuck you. You really are music's Donald Trump. And also, based on the Sublime episode, that should be a Hitler reference, not an Einstein reference.
I think that this album might secretly be a soundtrack to a movie nobody made. Because some of these songs might make sense if they were playing in the background of like a chase sequence.
I mean, yeah, again, it's the same as the Portugal the Man's newest album. If there are visuals, this might all make sense.
Maybe. But also in the way that it changes tone so dramatically.
Yeah, like it would make sense.
I readily await the movie.
So I also wrote down, there's the one set of footprints, You Was Carrying Me. Do you understand that reference?
Yes.
Because it's awesome. And
it's
by
just
awesome,
dumb.
I mean awful.
It's a dumb poster.
Yeah, well, it's a reference to a 1936 poem.
Oh, it's a whole poem?
That was walking down the beach of my life or whatever, looking back on my life, and there was always two sets of footprints, God walking next to me. Then in the hard times, there was just one set of footprints. Why did God leave me? Oh no, I was carrying you, is what this comes from. And this album has several like shitty motivational poster type lyrics like this.
Yes.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's what people with mental problems collect in the lobby of bad psychiatrist pamphlets. And that's his inspiration now, because he's a crazy person.
Yeah.
Once again, the best parts are not Kanye West in this song. It's kind of the theme of the whole thing. Other than that, I have nothing to say.
Nothing that I'm interested in here.
We're 20 tracks in. We're all the way through this album. Let's talk a little bit about how did this album do? Obviously, you and I have some issues with it. Possibly you more than me, although I think you're starting to sway me now that we've kind of moved through it song by song. I'm angrier than when we started. And I think part of the difference is that I really tried to ignore the lyrics. I tried hard.
I'm not going to let you do that ever.
I don't think you can.
No.
I don't think you can ignore them. So this album, I guess, not shockingly, was wildly popular. It did very well. Premiered at number 1 on the Billboard Top 200. Didn't stay there, but it did stay on the charts for 78 weeks. That's insane.
Yeah, so it did really well. It was the first album in history to go platinum just through streaming.
Which I don't necessarily understand, but okay.
So total sales as of January 1st of this year, it had already been certified platinum by then, was only 798,000. However, it was streamed 250 million times in the first 10 days.
How's that possible?
I don't know. How is that so shitty? Seems like they should have all the money they need with that volume.
Well, they said that their subscribers doubled to 3 million. So everybody streamed it.
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's the number they quote.
I call bullshit.
Fair enough. This is also the first album that we've come across that the sales figures are in AEUs, or album equivalent units. Yeah, so this is his 8th album to go platinum. I think he's got 8 albums, and it is
Yes.
his 7th consecutive #1 album.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't get it. At least with some of the other albums, it's not for me, but I at least understand that there is talent behind it. This does not deserve to be, at most, it should be a weird side project that people who are diehard Kanye West fans have heard. That wouldn't shock me. And part of the reason why I think that I don't hate it is that it isn't a classic Kanye West album. It's definitely not a classic hip hop or rap album by any stretch of the imagination. It's this weird thing. Honestly, the reason I can't enjoy it is because it's not finished enough. It's just a bunch of shit that they threw against a wall and they're like, good enough. Time to release this. But somehow it took 3 years to do it. Yeah, so sales, it did great. Not shockingly. How did it do with the critics?
So critics seem to like it. It made a shocking number of best of 2016 retrospectives.
Yeah, not just led many.
This is true.
And I went back and I looked at what else was released that year. Granted, it's a bit of a soft year. There's not a lot of great stuff in 2016 by my estimates, but it shouldn't be the #1.
So I looked up other reviews from Amazon and Metacritic because the Amazon reviews are very divided. It's 50% 5-star, 7% 4-star, 43% 1-star. And mostly it's just people saying this is his best work, or it's the worst album, or it's continuing in the long line of Kanye greatness. Metacritic, though, has a bunch of insane people. These people are fucking nuts and stupid. So stupid. First of all, there's a weirdly high number of reviews in French on Metacritic for some reason, specifically about this album. Okay, so I'll just read some kind of snippets, choice sentences from some reviews.
Give us a sense of what people thought of this album.
The first one, Kanye prove his artistry. No, his best record, but undoubtedly his best composition.
That's probably what, Rolling Stone?
This is one you'll like. This is a God dream. 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 It continues. I'm not going to read all
somebody help that man.
Yeah. This is how a masterpiece should sound like. Okay.
Nope.
This is a God dream. Sonically one of the best albums I have ever heard. Kanye going down in the history books. Every sound is so precise and glorious to listen to.
Glorious? And when you say sonically, what do you mean?
I can't interpret. I don't think you can dislike this and like music at the same time.
What?
Yeah. Here's another one. Another mesh of amazing sound. Starts off on a very high note and keeps the energy going throughout the album. The only thing holding it back from a perfect 10 were some questionable lyrics on a couple of songs. 10 of 10. Read your own review, man.
Wow.
This is one that was written definitely by somebody in the midst of a manic episode. Kanye is God. I am God. We are gods. Thank you. Thank everyone. Be inspired by this man. No one in music history has done the things he's done. Even if you don't like his music, just look how hard he works to achieve his dreams. We should all be doing the same. He's just shown us anything is possible. We can do this, people. Smiley face. 10 of 10.
Whoa.
And
Kevin Hart.
This is my last one, but it is by far my favorite. It reads simply, Robert Frost would be proud, 10 of 10.
Wow.
What does that mean? No, I can
wouldn't.
almost assure you Robert Frost would not enjoy this.
If anybody wouldn't. That's a great one to end on. All right, so we've pulled this thing apart. We've heard what other people have to say about it. We know how the mainstream took it in. I asked this question again, Tim. Do you hate this album?
I still don't think that I can say that I do because, and I agree more and more with your idea that this might be a goof, and I
can't abide it.
I do not like this album, but to say that I hate it, I think that I would need to understand a little bit more what's going on here, and I can't say that I do. I do have a renewed hatred for this narcissistic dick face, and I mean, this whole thing, it's just a nightmare kaleidoscope of douchebaggery. The city of LA was right to have him committed. Yeah, I can't say that I hate it, but I certainly don't like it. I almost certainly will never listen to it again.
That's fair.
What about you? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I think I am close to where I started, but I can comfortably say I do not like this album. I don't hate it. I don't like it. You know what? I will listen to it again. I am going to listen to this album one more time, at least. There may be a follow-up, a PS episode, part 2.
That I will not be participating in.
Right.
It's just not for me.
That's fair. So 2, don't like it, may not hate it. Definitely, though, I want to make clear, still very much hate Kanye West.
Absolutely. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that we pass past. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.